All right.
Okay,
So, is it okay if I go over the agenda?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Please do.
So we're just going to try to make this a short meeting, going over some of the basics, and then open it up for some questions. So we have a little program overview and what are some of the unique aspects of this program. We're going to talk about why this program compared to other programs that you may be aware of, the courses and what are the courses that are required for you to take and what is the layout of them and when they are offered, some of the expectations to be aware of. We go over a very basic sample course experience just to show you what the layout of our course looks like, but we are not going to bore you with that. So we're just going to limit this experience to some of the basics of what you will see in our online courses and the requirements for application process, the cost of the program, and then opening it up for questions. So towards the end, we ask you that during the presentation, you keep your microphone muted, please. And then towards the end, when we open up for question, please ask your question. And during the time that we are talking, there is a chat option in the bottom of your um, this Zoom meeting. So feel free to type your questions in the chat and so that you don't forget it, because I tend to forget some of my questions as we go over. So feel free to type the question and we will get back to it. I'm just going to start with the program overview. We decided to offer ESL program in an online mode so that we can have teachers, in-service teachers who are interested be able to attend our classes, because this is one of the high need areas. If in any state you are, if you go to the high need areas or teacher shortage information, like in state of Iowa, ESL has been one of those shortage areas for the past 3-4 years, and it is growing. We have a large number of ESL students coming to state, and we need to have teachers who are prepared and qualified to teach the students who are coming with those needs in the schools. So we decided that we had this ESL endorsement previously, which all of our traditional students were able to take. So this program, because it is offered fully online, it will be also available to veterans and veteran teachers who may be interested to come back and get that endorsement and be qualified to teach the ESL in addition to whatever other um, endorsements that they are teaching. Now, we really are not just, when we're teaching these classes and we design the courses, we didn't just focus on the ESL group, but it also, we decided to add some components to be more inclusive in the classroom, some of the accessibility potential that not only allow ESL students, but also any special ed or other, even any regular student who may be able to benefit from some of the design pieces that you will learn throughout this program. So I think it just will be it will be providing you with some skills and make anyone more well-rounded to be more inclusive and culturally inclusive as well in their classroom. And one of the good perks of the program is that the coursework, because we knew a lot of our students in this program are going to be teachers, we decided to make it as short as possible, but also in a way that works out well with your schedule during the school year and the summer. So you will be able to complete this program in a year and a summer, so almost a year. So it starts from May 2020. The first class starts in the end of May with a short orientation to online learning, and officially in June. And then you will be taking 2 classes in the first summer, 1 class in the fall semester. It's a 7-week course. in the fall, and then one class in winter, which is another 7 week, because we decided that fall and winter are more busy time for teachers. So just one class to be able to focus and getting it done would be helpful. And that course in the winter is the methodology class, which also requires some practicum or field experience, which we help individual based on their individual needs, on deciding where would be a best place for them to complete that field experience or the practicum that would be appropriate for them to give them the experience with methods and teaching practices. And then there are two last courses that are more about cultural inclusiveness and a structure of English that you'll be taking in the second summer. So that's the process or the way that the program layout is designed for now. And I'm gonna pass it to Dr. Ticket. Oh, you're unmuted.
Thank you. I always forget that little step. Thanks, Miriam. Okay, so why this program? Miriam did a great job explaining some of the benefits already, but just to reiterate, we somewhat stacked the courses in the summer when you'll be outside of the classroom. And I say that with a big smile on my face because we know that teachers do a lot of work over the summer. And so we definitely recognize that, but we've all been teachers and we know how hectic the academic year is. So that's why we put more into the summers, put as much as we could. And then having just one in the fall and one in the winter to be able to really concentrate on one course at a time during that academic year. One of the things I really like to highlight with our ESL endorsement is the faculty experience and training. So you've met Dr. Miriam Radzabo, and she's really our leader for the ESL program, and she has lots of fantastic experience in the classroom, engaging with ESL students. She's done the best practice, she's implemented the strategies, and now her job is helping other teachers become as great as she has been with her skill set. So it's really fun to watch Dr. Radzabo share this with potential ESL teachers. And then another faculty that we have that is not on the call today is Dr. Boss, and she's had some good ESL training and experience as well. I believe she was teaching in Japan, teaching English as a second language in the Japan area. So I will say, as I'm working with a lot of other institutions, one thing I don't see often is that faculty expertise. So I'm so excited that we have that at Wartburg, and we don't have just one, which is the standard. If any institution has it, we have two. And so that's really exciting. Plus, we've pulled in our experts into the languages, literacy, ESL. So it's really a rich and vibrant set of skills that and experience that you'll be learning from. Like Miriam mentioned, there is a field experience practicum opportunity, and the real focus of that class is, here are all these great strategies. Let's go out into the classroom and practice using them. Let's see what works, what isn't working as well as we thought it would, and to start to have some of those great conversations of why. What could we do different, working together as peers? And this is a unique opportunity for practicing teachers and teacher candidates, our undergraduate students, to be working together, because you're both really coming from unique points of view. Whereas I would say the undergrads have been studying a lot of theory and getting a lot of experience out in the classrooms, and our teachers that are practicing teachers have maybe gotten, I don't want to say away from the theory because it's always as our base, but they have so many real world examples to be sharing, and this is what I've experienced in my classroom. So a really unique opportunity. The focus on strategies and best practices, and it's, we know this from teaching, but this is for ESL, but these best practices and strategies work so well for all different types of student populations. So you're really adding a lot of neat tools to your toolkit for teaching. And then definitely the flexible format of how we've structured this program, along with great levels of support from faculty. That's something that when you ask Wartburg students, why Wartburg, that's typically the answer is the support, the relationships that you have with faculty. And then another thing that I would add to this list that I didn't necessarily put on the PowerPoint, but our relationship with the schools and with the principals, we've got a really strong reputation as the Wartburg Education Department. And that's something that definitely will benefit everyone going through this program. So we definitely share the connections that we have, and we're here to support each of you. Thanks, Miriam. And so along with that, some additional benefits that I'll keep going. Definitely advancing your career. You can use this on the step. Oh, sorry. I just goofed it all up, didn't I?
Here.
Perfect. Okay, so we can, it looks like, Miriam, we're ready to go on to the courses.
Oh, no, sorry. I'm sorry about that. You go ahead.
Okay, it's a high need area, and so definitely they've been recruiting teachers in for that. I have heard of a few starting to negotiating starting some bonus starts, and so keep that in mind as well. And it doesn't mean, something that oftentimes people get very confused with ESL, you don't have to fluently speak another language. We're sharing strategies and best practices of helping students with a second language, that type of thing. So don't feel like you need to speak another language. The collaboration with practicing educators, with faculty, with administrators is ideal. And then, like I said earlier, it's very applicable to other populations as well. And you're muted, Miriam.
Thank you. So here is the list of the courses that is taught that you'll be taking during this program. So there's a course, orientation, which is not a course for credit, but that's an orientation that a lot of the students who have already registered for this program have shared that they haven't had any experience teaching or learning online. So we want to make sure that we fully onboard you and make you comfortable with the online format. So that orientation will give you a very good grasp of what it's like to be an online learner, and hopefully something that you can take away from this experience to also consider teaching online in your own area as well. Then our summer sessions, we have two summer sessions, summer session 1 and 2, but the first summer in 2020, if you were to register for this program, you can take language development and sociolinguistic and bilingual education. Language development is a prerequisite for the sociolinguistic and bilingual education, but we do allow our students to take it as a core requisite during the summer. In the sociolinguistic and bilingual education, you learn about a lot of processes that goes into learning a second language. So if you haven't experienced learning a second language yourself, this will be a good course that would give you an idea of what it's like to learn a second language. What are some of the things that I should expect to see happening? What is a mistake? What is an error? What is something that I have to correct? And what is something that I don't need to correct? And I'd say I have forgot to change that credit, but this is also a 1 credit course. We have 6 1 credit course. if you have already completed language development in your previous program, like if you have graduated from Wartburg and you have had that language development course before, you're not required to take that. We transfer that credit to your new program. So that's one way that you can apply that and have to take less classes and still complete the program. In the fall, you will be taking assessment practices in ESL. You will be learning about a lot of theories in assessment, application of assessment, and what it's like in the ESL setting, and also some of the state requirements for assessment that goes into the assessment practices currently in place. We try to integrate as much as possible with the new assessment practices that they do in the state of Iowa, because we know there are some requirements that they have, and we like to make sure that you are aware of where to access those resources and what to be aware of. Then in winter, we co-teach, actually Dr. Tikip and I co-teach the methods and pedagogy in ESL, which also come with a practicum or a potential field experience opportunity for you to be in the actual ESL setting and applying the method and pedagogy. And one strength of this course is Dr. Tikip is teaching methods in math and different contents and reading and early childhood too. So with her experience bringing all of that to this class and my experience with ESL methods and pedagogy, I think we can share some very good resources for you to be able to teach ESL, but also teach content to the learners of other language, like the learners of English as a foreign language. So I think that's one strength of that class, that we have made sure that we are focusing on the content and all the different courses that those students need to learn, and not just teaching English to them. And then we have EN 331, which is Structure of English, and GM 201, which is Intercultural Communication. Those two classes are the ones that you're taking in the next summer, in 2021. And in those courses, you will be learning some of the structure of English that you need to be aware of, because your grammatical and, learning the grammar and knowing how to teach it, what is the structure, will help you with teaching that to someone who doesn't have a very good basics of English. So those courses, that course will give you some more information and kind of refresh your own idea about the structure of English and how you will use that to teach. And also in the intercultural communication, you learn more about the different cultures and how to be aware of that and make it more culturally inclusive. So we do have a lot of overlap in the different courses. We make sure that we are addressing the important pieces several times in the different levels. But that's pretty much what to expect during the 2 summers and fall and winter. I'm gonna unmute you. Oh, it doesn't let me.
There we go. There we go. Thank you. So the course experience, the entire program's online and asynchronous. So that's definitely a benefit for all of us out there working. The way that the courses are set up is using Quality Matters as a standard for the best learner experience, which would be all of you. Each week we have weekly modules, and so you work through those weeks each semester. And so the summer courses are 6 weeks long. The term semesters are 7 weeks long. So you'll either have 6 weekly modules to work through or 7 weekly modules. And I'll show you an example in just a little bit of a module, but it's really laid out in an organized fashion with the learner in mind, in terms of these are the objectives this week, this is the main topic, these are the tasks that you'll be completing. And then all of your handouts, your materials, your discussion forum will all be on that one page. And then the orientation course, that 0 course credit that you take in May, if you haven't taken an online course, it is very beneficial to become familiar with our learning management system, which we call My Wartburg. And the topics for this orientation is making sure you have the basic technology that will be required for you to be successful in the program, some time management, study skills, and organizational skills, just because online learning is different than face-to-face, along with written communication, reading, and netiquette. You'll also have an opportunity to do an upload, to participate in a forum, so that when your first class starts for credit, you'll be familiar in the system and take away all of that. So Miriam, if you could go to the next slide for me, please. Here's just an example of, here's one of a course that's developed. It's very similar. And this is the Start Here page. So you can see down below the Getting Started directions, check into the attendance thread, open the bio thread, next go to week 1. So I just wanted to show you that in terms of it's put together very well and should be a seamless process, but if it's not, feel free to reach out. You can see that there are pages like student support and help, research and writing tools. So we're really giving you everything to help you be the most successful you can be. If we can go to the next slide, Miriam. Here's an example of a weekly module where, like I said, we provide the objectives for the course that will be covering that week along with your tasks. And then down below, which you can't see, there's usually a weekly online video, there's usually a discussion forum, there's typically research articles that have been uploaded for you to go through and read, that type of thing. So it's a very sequential order with student learning at the absolute forefront. We use Quality Matters. It's asynchronous, meaning that there's not one set time. We all have to be on and working together, but there are deadlines, you know, the due dates for coursework, that type of thing. But it's all available and written out for you to be able to follow smoothly. Okay, and then I'm going to cover requirements and licensure, and if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and we can see if Dr. Feg is available or I can call her. But the course requirements are pretty simple. It's pretty much having the prereqs for each specific course. And so ED 223, the language development course, is the first one. Obviously, there's no prereq for that course, but then as you go through, there is a prereq for sociolinguistics, having that ED 223. So there could be a situation or a scenario where you've already taken a language development course and you're ready to take the sociolinguistics. That's the next course that you should be taking. Then we just need your transcript to see that, yes, you have taken a course, or maybe even it's a similar enough course, like the Structures of English course. That may be something where you've had another course that's so similar to it and it hits the same objectives. We would go ahead and count that and let you into that next course. Now, licensure is a little bit different. This is a K-12, pre-K-12 ESL endorsement. And each state's a little bit different, meaning that you really have to go to the state that you would like the license in and see what their requirements are. This program was built to make sure that we have all of the requirements for the Iowa ESL endorsement pre-K-12. And I'd say the requirements or the courses, the content we have is going to hit the majority of the states that are out there. Now in Iowa, especially K-8, you need to have the bachelor's degree in order to get an endorsement, to get licensed with that endorsement as well. Now each state's a little bit different. I know there are some secondary schools that are allowing alternate pathways into teaching. So that might be a possibility. But in short, it really depends on your state. If you've graduated from Wartburg College, then you'd be working with Wartburg College, or you'd actually be going to the state, providing the additional courses you've taken for an additional endorsement. If you've graduated from another institution, you'd be doing the same process with that state, but through your undergrad that you graduated from. So let's say that you graduated from Iowa State University, and now you're taking a set of courses through Wartburg. You would go through the Iowa Department of Ed and Iowa State if needed to get that additional licensure piece. Kelly?
Yeah, I was add that, so basically if you are getting your endorsement, you'd go through your college if they have that endorsement. If they don't, you go through the state. That's how they're doing it now. It just recently changed, but we can definitely help guide you in where to look for that information.
Great, thanks, Kelly. Okay, the tuition cost, the May through winter, that orientation course is a 0 course credit, so there's no cost to that. The rest, it is $472 per semester hour, and Wartburg does their credit system a little bit different. A lot of times you'll see a 3 semester hour course, and we do ours by course credit. You can kind of see down below, each course credit, 1 CC, equals 3.5 semester hours. And so comparing tuition costs to other institutions, we're very competitive with our tuition being at the $472 per semester hour. When you add all of it up, there are 21 semester hours for that 6 course credits. So it's approximately $12,000 for the program. Now, there's a possibility, and I would hope everybody would look for this too, is if you have taken courses that are similar. So for example, the language development course or the structures of English course. You know, if we can reduce some of the courses from ones that you've already taken, we're all for that. We want to help you get the endorsement with as little cost as possible. But we are very competitive. We've been checking with a lot of other institutions, and we're proud that we've been able to get the cost down to this. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. There is some financial aid, and I would just go to the financial aid page and work with our financial aid officers on what's available.
Are we allowed to ask questions? Okay. One of my questions is, so is this only for the 2020-2021 year, or is this going to be a continuing thing?
It will be continuing, yes. Okay. But
So,
it's somewhat set up, and it's set up in a cohort style, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't navigate away from that or in and out. So pretty much the idea is everyone that starts this summer will take every course together in that same cohort, and you'll kind of build up that collaborative team with your faculty and your peers.
Okay, gotcha.
And I would say this year we have a good number of students in our cohort, and so we are encouraging those who are interested to start from the summer, because then you will take all of the classes with that cohort of students and other teachers who are taking those classes. And it is very important in the online courses to have that community that you can rely on and work together.
Okay, so if I would decide to start this whole thing this year, would Wartburg still let me take the summer classes even though I'm already signed up for a summer class? Can you take more than one summer class?
Yes.
Okay. And then for the May term class, since it's a 0 credit class, would Wartburg still let me take that even though I already have an ID course? Okay.
Yeah. Good questions.
That was all my questions for now.
Super. I'm just looking up to see how many spots we have left. I know it's been filling up fast in the last couple weeks even.
And I'd like to say Stephanie kind of mentioned this, that we have a very good relationship with faculty and students in the classrooms. And one of the very good highlights of this program is the very small number of students in the classes. We really try to make sure that, first of all, the cap is 18 for our online courses, and we try to make sure that the faculty who's teaching these classes have the time and the training to work with the students in a very good one-to-one fashion. So that's a very good point. And that's why Stephanie is checking that to see how many enrollment we have, because it is easy to fill up.
Right. We have 12 of the 18 spots spoken for.
Okay.
So there's room for 6 more.
Okay. Is it possible for you to email us the PowerPoint? Okay, thanks.
I can actually share the recording of this webinar with anyone who is interested. So feel free to email me if you're interested to have access to the recording.
Are there any other questions?
I probably missed this, but what's the deadline for application?
That is a great question. Is it Lauren?
Yep.
Lauren, that's a great question, and it's somewhat soft. I would say the sooner the better, but if there's still room, if there's still a seat available, I would say up to a week before it starts. And so I would put that at the last Monday of May.
Okay, thank
Would
you.
be the absolute latest you'd want to push it off.
Thanks.
Yes.
And if you see yourself interested and you're trying to figure out some logistics to be able to register, please let us know, because we are happy to help you with anything we can to help you get started with this cohort.
Would we have to go through like the whole registrar and that kind of stuff to sign up for the classes?
We would help you with that.
Okay, just because I'm not like on campus, so I can't be going back and forth, I guess.
No, we're doing that pretty much remote. I'm gonna be the advisor for ESL students, and I've tried to make that as simple as possible. I check with the students and try to put them in the cohort and
Okay.
have the registrar sign you up for them. So you only need to change them if the cohort plan is not working for you.
Okay.
Perfect. And if anyone's really interested and they just need a little bit of time to think, reach out to us with that too, and we can see about saving a seat. If you know you just need a little bit of time, we certainly understand that. But it's definitely it's a high need area right now. Schools are desperate to find ESL teachers, and so if you just want to add to your skill set, that's great. If you're wanting to get a little bit more marketable, that's great. There's just so many reasons to do this.
And it is such a rewarding process to be able to do this service as a teacher. When you teach someone how to speak the language that they need to, and they would make them more successful in whatever they are doing, they always remember what you have done for them, and they're so thankful. I've had wonderful experience working with every student I've taught to speak English, and it has been so rewarding for myself to be that person who put that to leave that experience for that student, but also very good for the students. I'm still in touch with some of my students from the time that I was teaching English as a foreign language, and it is amazing that sometimes they would email me or use FaceTime or something, and they would just tell me that, hey, I'm so interested, I'm actually going to be a teacher soon, or I'm a teacher, which makes me feel old. And it's really bad that we have that happening, but it is amazing to hear that your student come back and say, I became a teacher because I liked when you did it, or it was rewarding, and it is rewarding for you as a teacher. You will enjoy doing that too. All right, I think we can wrap it up. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any question. We will share the link to the webinar with you if you're interested. Ask more questions as it comes to you. Feel free to email me or Dr. TCAP. I have our phone numbers and emails here, but you also have my email in the invitation that I sent out for this webinar. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
And there's an online application as well on the ESL page that I believe, Miriam, when you sent that out, did you include a link for that ESL page?
I didn't, but thanks for saying that. I will share that when I'm sharing the link to the webinar.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. It was great to see and hear everybody, and looking forward to future opportunities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.